everyone, and welcome back to Dear Editor. I'm Lady George, and today I have the delectable Loretta Laoye. She's a friend, and trust me, you really want to hear from her because she's very put together, very knowledgeable, and in fact, very involved in her NGO. So today we have Miss Loretta Laoye. Please introduce yourself.
Thank you so much for having me, Rikia. As Rikia rightly stated, my name is Loretta Laoye. I am a HR consultant, and on the side, I am the founder of Geranuel PCOS Foundation. It is a non-profit organization that has been set up to create awareness for polycystic ovarian syndrome.
Okay. So what brought about you setting up this NGO?
Ricky, I knew you were going to ask that question. So, Geranuel PCOS Foundation was born out of my personal experience. I've said previously, a few times in the past, that I am a woman living with PCOS. And before I was diagnosed, you can imagine how distraught I was to experience some of the symptoms and telltale signs of PCOS, one of which was irregular menstrual cycle. So I had gone for 6 months without having a period, and I wasn't sure what was happening to me. At that point in time, I felt the need to seek medical help. And because the condition was novel to me at the time, it was new, it wasn't something I had heard about, I had to carry out extensive research. And I realized that not many women at the time knew about this condition. So I felt that coming up with something, right, that will create awareness and provide information to women who are living with this condition, and then to other people who know women that are living with this condition will be beneficial, you know, and putting the word out there. There's something awareness does.
Yes.
You know, when you create awareness, people are able to better understand what it is you're creating awareness for, and are able to better live with the realities that surrounds, you know, that condition or that thing. Yes.
Okay. So statistically, we see that 1 in every 10 women, right, live with PCOS, and a lot don't even know about it. Like you didn't know about it till you did your own personal research. So why do we still have such low awareness and information, right, about PCOS, and what can we do to amplify this?
So I think it's a thing of focus. Right now, the world seems to be focused on cancer. And PCOS, however common, it's a condition that's also quite sensitive. You know, it's the leading cause of infertility in women, right, of reproductive age. And back then, when a woman is deemed infertile or unable to conceive, it's sort of like a taboo. So, judging by where PCOS as a condition is coming from, one can then understand why it's not really spoken about as much. And then it's also a condition that's gender specific.
Yes.
So, as opposed to, for instance, cancer now on a general note. I know we do have prostate cancer, we have breast cancer, but then cancer as a condition or as an illness is something that everyone, every gender, every age can relate to. But whereas with PCOS, it's quite limited. You know, it's a female condition, and then it's more pronounced in when a woman is in her reproductive age. So there isn't that much conversations on PCOS compared to other conditions, unfortunately. And I think these are the few reasons why, you know, it's not really talked about as much. And then what can we do about it? Essentially what Geranuel PCOS Foundation is doing, and other foundations are doing as well, we're creating awareness by providing information firsthand. we started off with providing information to women. That was our target audience at the start. But then we realized that there are men who have wives that are living with this condition as well. So we had to expand our scope and then, took off that limitation and provided information to everybody that was willing to hear about the condition.
Fantastic work that you're doing. So beyond irregular periods, because I know that's the most common symptom or sign that is talked about, what are the other health challenges that one should look out for, symptoms that one should look out for that is not so common as not seeing your period or having, I believe, very excruciating pains, right? So what are those symptoms that we could look at?
Okay, so we'll start off with the telltale signs and symptoms. As you rightly stated, irregular menstrual cycle, being overweight as well is a telltale sign. Most women that have this condition are quite overweight, yes? And then hirsutism, and that is a medical term for excess bodily hair. So most women that have PCOS tend to be quite hairy, very, very hairy, yes, than normal. And then you also have women living with this condition are prone to acne. They have acne-prone skin, and they're also prone to having dark patches on specific parts of their bodies, so your underarms, your neck, and then certain other parts of your body as well. So it does affect the skin in as much as it affects what's going on internally.
Inside.
Yes. Then some of the symptoms that are not, I won't say they are not common, but they are not as pronounced. Sleep disorders, because it's a hormonal issue.
Oh yeah.
Yes, it tends to affect your sleep if care is not taken. Yes. And then, aside the symptoms, there are risk factors, by extension. So women living with this condition are at a risk of, or a greater risk of having or developing, endometrial cancer.
Wow.
Yes, ovarian cancer. And they also stand a risk of developing cardiovascular diseases, and they're at a high risk of diabetes as well. So these are some of the risk factors by extension of the telltale signs and symptoms that people are not really aware of. So if you do have PCOS, you need to watch your intake of sugar. Because of diabetes, you have to try as much as you can to be very active. Yes, because of excess weight gain, which could also compound cardiovascular issues, and then ovarian cancer as well. So these are things that one has to look out for.
Okay, so you've mentioned a few of these things now. I know that you're not a medical professional, but are there ways, or would your body ever come out of it, or is something you live with for the rest of your life, even through menopause or after menopause? Does it go away, or how does that happen?
Okay, so PCOS has no known cure.
Right.
Yes, it can only be treated and managed. And recent studies have shown that your symptoms can be reversed. That's what they call it. So it's not like a cure per se, but then your symptoms are being kept at bay. So it's you hear about people beating cancer, cancer survivors. So it's not as though you cannot slip back or have a regression. Yes. So with PCOS, you can't cure it totally, but if your lifestyle is managed and you live a healthy lifestyle, then you can keep your symptoms at bay. So sometimes I actually forget that I have PCOS. I eat healthy, I work out, and I'm mindful of what goes into my system. Not necessarily because I have PCOS, but because I generally just want to be healthy. Yes. So yeah, that's about it when it comes to, you know, a cure.
Yeah.
Yes, it can only be treated. It can't be cured.
As we have no cure per se, is there anything that actually causes it, or there's still research being done on that?
Okay, so I forgot to mention that there's also no known cause for the condition. However, it can be hereditary.
Right.
Yes, so you find that a lot of women living with this condition have a history of PCOS. Maybe a mom, their moms, their aunties, someone in the family, you know, might have PCOS as well. So it can be hereditary.
Okay, so what message can you share with women who are trying to conceive and are going through this, right? And how they can feel better and understand their bodies, right? Because some people would say, like, their bodies are working against them, you know? So do you have a message for those people, especially those women trying to conceive? Because you have beautiful kids.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So what I would say is, first of all, knowledge is power. Before I get to that, to the women who are living with this condition and feel that their bodies are, in quotes, working against them, know that you're not alone in this. That's one. Two, knowledge is power. It is important that you don't just understand the condition itself, but you understand your body. How your daily routines affect your body, how what you ingest affects your body, and how certain life decisions regarding, you know, your body itself affects your condition. So what I would say is research. There's so much material out there, and technology has advanced at an alarming rate. So take advantage of that. Read up. There are platforms, reputable platforms, that put out information about this condition. So it's important to leverage on those platforms to get information. Then again, with health, I always say this to our beneficiaries and in general, with health, there's no one size fits all. Yes. So while we have healthcare professionals out there providing support and guidance, it is also important to understand how your body works. So I always tell women that have this condition, have a chart. First of all, have a period planner or a calendar. First of all, that helps you to keep track of your cycle. Secondly, you're not only trying to keep track of your cycle, you're also seeing how the things you do, the things you eat affect your cycle. So in a month, if you've had your period, for instance, 3 months in a row, what did you do differently? You need to pay attention to those things. What did I eat? Was it a thing of portion control? Was I more active? Was I working out a lot more? Was I on any form of medication? So it's important to know how your external environment affects your body. And your cycle is one sure way of, you know, knowing whether or not things are balanced in your system. One sure way, but not the only way. And this brings me to something else. You might have regular periods, but also have PCOS.
Right.
Like I said, it's not one size fits all. You can be underweight and have PCOS. You can have skin like glass and have PCOS. You can have no symptoms at all and find out that you are infertile. And that could just be the indication that you have PCOS. So another thing I would say is, in addition to monitoring how your external environment affects your health, right? It is important to carry out routine checks if you suspect that you have the condition. Yes. So routine checks such as scans, ultrasound scans, or transvaginal scans for women that are sexually active, and then hormonal assay, hormone tests, so that at least your doctors, physicians, gynecologists can check the levels of your hormones. Yes.
Wow. Okay. So another thing is, you mentioned like the health professionals and all that, but I want to divert into like the beauty industry, right? How can they be more inclusive of women with PCOS and the whole hormonal condition?
So one thing I would say is support. We can never get enough support. So I'll take, for instance, hirsutism, which is one of the telltale signs and symptoms, excess bodily hair. So a woman with PCOS that's self-conscious about her appearance would most likely be advised to have laser hair removal done, because it is the most sustainable hair removal treatment, right? You can try waxing, you can try shaving. These two options actually even make your hair growth worse. Yes, because your hair grows back thicker, more coarse, and whatnot. So, and we know laser hair removal treatment is quite expensive. So, I know the beauty industry is set up to make money ultimately, but in a bid to provide support, perhaps certain concessions can be given to women that are living with this condition. So, the average woman that's not living with this condition may require 5 to 6 sessions a year, right, to get rid of her bodily hair. But a woman living with PCOS would need about double of that, about 12 sessions to start with before you get to the maintenance phase. So I would say perhaps concessions when it comes to price, and then joining as well in the campaign to create awareness. All hands are on deck when it comes to cancer.
Yes.
And this is a condition that's also linked to cancer. So joining in the campaign in one way or the other, either through your services or with the help of your voice as a beautician or, you know, someone practicing the beauty industry, will go a long way.
Okay, so people in the beauty industry, reach out to Geranuel. Let's see how we can partner and make it work, you know, for those women who are going through this and who need the help and the service. Okay, so let's talk about depression a bit, right? Because, I mean, I know quite a few people who are living with PCOS, and sometimes they zone out for months. And when you find out, they're like, oh, I was just dealing with my body, you know, because I don't look good, I don't feel good, nobody's talking to me, I can't even get to stay in a relationship, right? So how can we get women to pull themselves out of that feeling and out of having depression while living with PCOS?
Well, when it comes to depression, you know, we often try to push the narrative of it being a mental thing, and we kind of downplay how whatever happens on the outside affects us mentally. So you'd find that people would say, why did she go under the knife to have a tummy tuck? She should have just embraced her body, you know, the way it was, and things like that. But there are several factors that lead to depression, and one of which is physical appearance. When you look good, there's that saying, you feel good, right? There's something that looking good does to every individual, and this cuts across gender. Yes. You feel more confident to start with, right? You feel more whole, right? And then the opposite of that is lack of confidence and then depression. So what I would say is, and I'm a realist, whatever it is that you do not like, first of all, especially as it pertains to, let's say, physical appearance, deal with it, work with it, if that will help your mental health. But while we're at it, it is important to note that these things can only bring you certain sort of satisfaction to a degree. Everything is still wired Everything still starts, everything still ends in the mind. So in order to be able to tackle depression, especially for women living with this condition, accept that you have this condition. Accept that there is no cure for this condition. Accept that it can be treatable and there are ways to go about it. Also accept that you may have to work on certain things, such as your physical appearance, right? And the things that make you feel, I'm trying to find the right word for it now, that make you feel depressed. Let me put it that way. It's okay to work on those things, because at the end of the day, you're the only one fighting that battle in your head.
Sure.
No one is aware. People are looking from the outside in. You are looking from the inside in. So whatever it is that you know that you can do to sort of pull yourself out from depression, by all means, do that. And one sure way to do that is find those things that make you happy. Those things that you can do that bring fulfillment, right? I've heard some people say that listening to music is quite therapeutic, right? Staying active, working out, clears their head. Do that. Going to the spa to pamper yourself. So the little things that you can do to make yourself happy will take you one step away from depression. Okay,
so speaking about all this, you said most times it's you in your own mind, right? Every other person is seeing it from the outside.
Yeah.
So how can we get our support systems, right, to understand and truly be there to help us cope and thrive, right? For those living with PCOS, our family members, friends, even healthcare professionals, because some of my friends will say, oh, we went and they couldn't diagnose us right. So luckily we met somebody who was willing to truly listen and understand, right? So how can we get our community to support truly?
Okay, so my response to that question may sound a bit harsh, but it's the reality. It's fact. It starts with you. Nobody's going to love you or support you as much as you love and support yourself. Right? So it starts with you. A lot of the times when we have, for instance, beautiful ideas, and if you're planning to venture into something and you share that with people while it's still half-baked, chances that you may not achieve your goal at the end of the day are higher than if you just start. So in order to ensure that your support system understand and give you the right type of support that you require, it is important for you to be knowledgeable about the condition, because you cannot create that awareness, because they also need the awareness. Like I mentioned earlier, the awareness is not just for women living with the condition, but for everyone who can also provide support. So it's important that you living with the condition, you're very much aware and knowledgeable, and then you're intentional about creating awareness to the people that form or make up your support system. Then again, as I mentioned earlier, reputable platforms, foundations, and whatnot are tasked, and saddled with this responsibility to push out as much information as we can, about PCOS. And like I said, it's not just limited to women alone. I don't see any reason why we cannot carry out a campaign to create awareness for men specifically. You have men that have wives, especially children, kids, daughters, the girl child. So it's important that men are also aware of this condition. And then growing girls, young girls, because I was diagnosed as a teenager, right? So you have so many young girls that are already experiencing these symptoms in school. And because of the stigma still attached to the condition, they are not comfortable enough to, even voice out the fact that they've missed a period. Yeah. Because to everybody, once you've missed a period, you're pregnant.
You started sleeping around.
You started sleeping around. you know. So it's important that we create this awareness, and then those living with the conditions and knowledgeable and are able to also create that awareness to their support systems.
Okay, so if you could say one thing right now to every woman battling PCOS in silence and pain and worry, you know, what would that be?
What I would say to every woman battling that is, I've said this before and I'll say it again, you're not alone. There's that consolation that people get when they find out that what they're dealing with is not peculiar to them. So you don't take things personal. You're not like, God, why do I have this condition? So many other women have the condition as well. A lot more than you probably even think, right? Secondly, we're in a day and age, considering the times that we're in, where there's support. Your support system is not limited to the people that are living, around you. There are different communities of women living with this condition that are supporting each other. Geranuel is just one out of many. So find a community, right? Bury yourself in that community. And I believe that with the knowledge that you have of your condition and with the right support in terms of identifying the right community for you, then you practically live a normal life living with PCOS. I can tell you for free that
I know that
I live a normal life. It's not a death sentence.
Yes.
Sometimes I forget that I have the condition. Yeah, so find a community, a safe space where you can discuss symptoms, issues that are peculiar to just even you, right? Like I said, with health, there's no one size fits all. And then again, look out for freebies as well. In a bid to create awareness, we don't just put out information. We offer free medical tests, scans, and consultations with gynecologists and medical practitioners. So follow us on Geranuel_ on Instagram. I think that's the right place to start. Join in the conversation, be part of the community, and take advantage of the free medical services that we have for you.
Okay, thank you so much, Loretta. It was lovely having you here. I truly enjoy having such conversations because I like to be very knowledgeable, because like you said, it's not just about the people living with it, but even all of us around them. You know, it's important for us to understand and know what this is, because we are sisters, we're friends, we're mothers, you know, so it's very essential. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you for your time out of your very busy schedule. It was lovely having you here today.
Thank you for having me. Thank you so much. Go Lifestyle.